Well, I have another project. I am going to install that wood stove in my garage, right over in that area. So the first thing I need to do is get this area cleared out. Now, I want to get some concrete board on this wall as a fire shield. And now to get the stove in place. So my understanding is this pipe is pretty easy to put together. It comes like this. You're supposed to slip this in, bend it down, and it'll go together. So you're gonna stay with me while I do it. Wait a minute. So far, not as easy as I thought it would be. I'm sure once I get it, I'll say, oh, there's a knack to it. Why they couldn't just give it to me put together. This. That is not the way it goes. That doesn't even look right. Oh, that was it. It popped into place. I just got to make it round again. All right, I got the first piece on. Just need one more piece inside the garage. Okay, all that bending that you have to do to get it in, it really takes the roundness out of this thing. So kind of have to work with it, get it back in shape. Let me get above. Really is not a very complex job, but as you can see, some of these pieces are kind of stubborn, so it does take some coaxing, takes a little time. There we go. This will go in here. So that's what it's going to look like on the inside of the garage. So I'm going to knock off for today, but I'll be putting a hole right there, and I'll have a double walled pipe that'll go from here to the outside, because I'm going through, you know, flammable material, so you want that extra insulation around it. And then put the pipe on the outside, secure it to the house, and I will be ready to go. Okay, so I've had to pause in my installation because, well, for one thing, I had to go to a couple of stores. And I'll just tell you, installing wood stove, it's not really that difficult of a job. The most difficult part is finding all the pieces that you need. I don't think I'm doing this stuff wrong, but it just seems like some of the things are backwards. So I'm taking a pause. I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm doing to make this work. And if you have any experience with this and you see something that I did wrong, please do so in the comments below. Tell me about it. any advice, you know, I might do another one of these sometimes. I feel like what I've come up with is actually going to work, but I just felt like it probably makes sense to go ahead and show you in a little more detail. Okay, so first, oh, by the way, when you actually see the installation, you're going to see that I've had to move this cement board over a little bit. I realized today if I had gone where I was thinking I was going to go, there's a little side area that has a roof over it. My pipe would have been coming up and hitting that roof. So I've had to move over a little bit. So I'll be moving that cement board. But anyway, what I wanted to show you for this part, so this is the stove. This is the approximate location it'll be. It will be in a little bit closer, but you know, you've got the pipe coming up and then you've got this 90 degree, okay? From this 90 degree to go through the wall, you need an insulated pipe. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. So this insulated pipe is going to be going through the wall, and it's insulated because you're going to be going through combustible material. So let me show you, I'm going to go over and show you a little bit more in detail what I'm talking about, some of the things that I am having to do with this. So the main problem is this right here. This is the way that the airflow goes, right? So this part is going to be inside coming from the stove. This end is going to be outside going into another 90 degree that'll be going up to the chimney cap. So here's the problem. If you remember over there coming out of that chimney, you had a male end. Well, the problem is it does not fit in this. So there's an adapter. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is the adapter, and it actually fits on here pretty good. You just slide it in there. There's some grooves, so you'll twist it and it locks into place. Looks pretty neat, right? But look what it has here. It has a male end. And remember, we have that male end that it needs to go into. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna take an angle grinder and just cut this off all the way around, so then it becomes a female end. Then I'll be able to put this in there. We'll be all good to go on that end, on the inside. All right, so here's the problem that I ran into with the outside part. So this is the outside chimney, and you'll see it's got a female bottom, all right? The problem is this right here will have to take a male, right? So this 90 degree is gonna go in there, which it just doesn't fit very well, and there's gonna be gaps right there. So what I got to remedy that was this, I guess you call it a coupler. So it's male on both sides. So I'll be sticking that in there. I'll run a bead of what they, some kind of heat caulk. I can't remember the name of it. But once I do that, now I've got a male end here. I'll be able to put this 90 degree on there and then run my chimney up from there. Now here's another problem that I ran into. I need to attach this some way to the, you can use the wall, but I've got to go away from the wall and up past the eave of the house. So they make these bands that you can put around it, and you know, it's kind of nifty looking and everything, but I don't know if they don't make them. I went to 4 places and could not find one that would fit this 6-inch pipe. All I could find was the ones that fit this pipe, which is 8 inches in diameter. So I went to my family farm and home, and I bought a strip of this metal here. You can see it's got holes in it. It's not real thick, so it's bendable. And I made my own bracket. So what I'll do is I'll put this around here, pull it together somewhat, put this screw on it so I can tighten it good, And then I'll just bolt or screw these to the eave, and that should hold it pretty well. So that's where I am with it. I'm going to do a couple of things on it tonight, and then tomorrow, hopefully I can get this thing finished. So I hope that was helpful. I just felt like I needed to show you in a little bit closer detail what I'm having to do to make this thing work. I do feel like I've come up with a good solution. So I'll be doing some grinding and, using the angle grinder to cut off that one piece and things. But the next part of the video is when I'll be actually installing, and I'll kind of re-explain things as I'm going. So hopefully that part was helpful and not too confusing. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, that will work. Smoke's going that way, so we'll come back out. Probably put a bead of that caulk around this too, just to be sure. But that's gonna work for my inside part. So I've got my hole cut out on the insulation. Now I'm gonna be using my drill, get a hole started, and then using a jigsaw to go all the way around. Ooh, that's cold. Okay, so what I've done here is just made a little frame because this pipe, it's actually pretty heavy, and the only thing on that wall was a piece of siding, basically. So this is gonna give a little bit more meat for it to lay on, kind of keep it, from jostling around too much. Okay, got the chimney finished out here, and I think we might be able to start a fire pretty soon. All right, now for those of you that have seen me start a fire, I usually don't resort to this, but I am not messing around. I'm too cold. Let's get this thing going. It's hard to see it, but we do have smoke coming out of the chimney, so it's going the right way. I totally forgot about the flue thing. Have to make sure that's open. And our wood burning stove we use inside doesn't have that type of flue. It's right there on the front, and so I had to fiddle around with it a little bit, but I got it. We're in business. Okay, so we've got pretty good draw. There's no smoke coming out of the stove, so we're good. But if there are any aficionados that watch this, let me know if you think I should go higher with that stack. I've heard that you should go above the peak, but I've also heard it's fine if you're getting a good draw. And to the left of us is the west. All of our weather comes from the northwest and the southwest. So I feel like it's going to be fine, but I'd like to get any input anybody has, so please make comments. I've got another piece of pipe I could add on there. I'm going to do it when it's not snowing and so cold though. Anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, stove's burning well. There were still embers in it this morning from the fire that I had last night. Smudge seems to like it. I would not recommend this, by the way, this particular stove for inside a house. As you can see, when you open it, smoke does tend to come out, even though the flue's open and it is drawing really well outside. So I'm not sure. That might be because of the short chimney stack. But you know, it's great for out in the garage. It's not going to heat this whole garage when it's as cold as it is right now, for sure. But it's a great place to come and just kind of warm up a little bit if I'm out here working. So I am glad that I installed it. I did learn a lot. And one thing that I didn't do was show some of those close-ups that I had said I would do. Frankly, when I was toward the end of it, it was just so stinking cold outside that I just wanted to get it done. So I videoed it, but I didn't really go into any details about what I was doing. So after I show this, I'm gonna just go around and take some quick close-ups and show you what I did do. If you want a couple of laughs, I did add at the end a couple of bloopers, or not bloopers, but just, I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny listening back to it. And it was mostly me trying to get that pipe back together. So check that out, and if you want a couple of good laughs. Other than that, if you enjoy the video, or if you like videos where the person that's doing them is kind of learning as they go, you know, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and share the videos with people you think could use them. And of course, hit the like button too, man. That's always really cool when people do that. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, God bless you. So this is just a, I don't know what you call it, but it just kind of covers your mistakes and things. I just screw that directly to that little bracelet or whatever that I put around the hole. And one thing about those, it's such a snug fit to get it over that little lip right there. I just took a hammer and just pounded it on there, but it worked. So you can see that that adapter right there, that turned out good. You know, where I made it into a female by cutting it, so that male end of that 90-degree fit in there really well. So that's my homemade bracket that I made for holding the pipe to the house. You can see that I did not get those flat, so I'll come back again when it's a little bit warmer. I'll come back and fold those down better, so they'll lay up against the house better. It's really an aesthetic thing. It's doing the job that it needs to do. And then this is where, if you remember, I had that coupler that I was sliding in there, so I would have a male end coming out of the end of this. So it just so happened that I was able to tamp it in all the way with a rubber mallet, and then this just slipped right over it. So I was able to get that snug on there, and you know, of course, screwed it on two sides to hold it. I'm not sure what the liquid is. I mean, it's coming, it's like the smoke maybe and condensation coming down. I just touched it and it does have a very smoky smell. So if anybody has any advice on how to stop that, please feel free to put it in the comments. Thank you. Well, I have another Let me Google this. Oh, man, this looks so easy. Man, that guy on that YouTube video just, no problem. I mean, I see how it's supposed to go. I don't think I've ever said a cuss word on one of these videos, but I'm really close. Not really, Mom. So I'm gonna get you. Ay, 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 ay. Come on, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get you. You just push down and it just snaps into place. Uh-huh. That guy Lowe's should have offered to do this for me. Seemed to know what he's talking about. Let me watch that video again. Okay, maybe it's easier to put them together before I put them on there.